What if I told you the numbness, tingling, and weakness in your feet is not the most dangerous part of neuropathy? The real threat is the quiet loss of balance, confidence, and control that follows right behind it. That is the part most people never see coming, until it changes their lives forever. As a surgeon with over 40 years of experience, I have worked with thousands of patients over 60 across the United States who believed they were simply getting older. They accepted holding onto furniture as a normal part of life. But the truth is, neuropathy is disrupting how your brain communicates with your legs. A delayed signal is the thin line between a steady step and losing your independence. The danger is that it happens quietly until it is too late. That is why this video is so critical right now. I am going to show you the only 5 exercises you truly need to restore circulation, rebuild stability, and help you feel the ground beneath your feet again before this loss of control becomes much harder to reverse. Before we begin, take a moment to comment your age and where you are watching from. I read every single one of them. And if any of this feels familiar to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Before you think about strength or balance, let me ask you something simple. When was the last time your legs truly felt awake? Not just moving, but responsive, steady, and connected. Because for many people over 60, what fades first is not strength, it is communication. The brain sends the signal, but the legs respond just a fraction too late. That delay is where instability begins. It is small, almost invisible, but it is the exact moment where control starts to slip. Most people never notice it. They just feel a little slower, a little less steady. They start adjusting without realizing it. Shorter steps, less lift in the feet, more reliance on support. And over time, that becomes your new normal. This is why we do not start with strength. We start by restoring the signal. The first movement is called seated march. Sit in a firm chair, not a soft couch. Your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Sit tall, chest lifted, not stiff. That position matters. When you slump, you compress circulation and weaken the signal, traveling from your brain down into your legs. And here is something important. In this seated position, your risk of falling is almost zero. That means even if your balance is poor or your symptoms are more advanced, you can still do this safely. Now, slowly lift your right knee, only as high as feels comfortable. Then lower it back down with full control. Switch to your left. As you continue, begin to add your arms naturally. Right knee, left arm, left knee, right arm, just like walking. But this is where most people get it wrong. They rush. They treat it like a quick warm-up. That does nothing. Speed shuts the system down. Control turns it back on. Each lift is a message. Each repetition is your brain sending a signal and your body learning how to respond again. If your feet feel numb, you may not feel much at first. That is not failure. That is exactly where you start. You are rebuilding coordination. You are restoring timing. You are waking up pathways that have been quiet for too long. Start with about 30 seconds. That may be enough for your first day. Then build to 1 minute. Eventually, work toward 2 minutes. Not fast, not forced, just controlled and consistent. You should feel your breathing increase slightly, your body becoming more alert, but you should still be able to talk comfortably. If you cannot, you are going too fast. Now let's talk about when to use this. This is most powerful in the morning. When you first wake up, your system is at its lowest point. Circulation is reduced, joints are stiff, nerve signaling is slower. And this is where most people make their biggest mistake. They get out of bed and immediately put full weight onto a system that has not been activated yet. That is when your knees feel weak. That is when your legs feel heavy. That is when you reach for a wall or a chair without even thinking. Because your muscles are not fully engaged yet, your joints take the load, and joints are not designed to handle instability, muscles are. This movement changes that. It prepares your body before you ask it to perform. It reconnects your brain to your legs before you stand up. It gives your system time to wake up instead of forcing it into action. And here is what happens when you do this consistently. Patients often tell me their legs feel lighter, more responsive, more connected. Like their body is finally listening again. That is not a coincidence. That is physiology. You are improving circulation. You are restoring neural signaling. You are reestablishing rhythm between your brain and your body. And here is the part you cannot ignore. If you skip this step, you go straight into movement with a system that is not ready. Blood flow is sluggish, signals are delayed, your reactions are slower. And that is when small missteps begin, not because you are weak, but because your body was never prepared to move in the first place. Again, if you are still watching and finding this helpful, comment 1 below to let me know you are with me. The second movement is called heel-toe rock, and this is where we begin restoring control in your feet, right where most falls actually start. As people get older, one of the first changes is subtle. The toes stop lifting the way they used to. Not completely, just enough that your steps become shorter, quieter, almost like you are sliding your feet instead of stepping. That small change increases your risk of tripping more than most people realize. This movement is designed to fix that. Start seated in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Sit tall. Now slowly lift your heels off the ground while keeping your toes pressed down. You should feel your calves tighten. Hold for a second, then lower back down with control. From there, shift your weight back and lift your toes up while keeping your heels on the ground. You will feel the front of your lower legs activate. Then alternate. Heels up, then toes up. Move slowly enough that you can feel every phase. When your heels lift, notice the pressure in your toes. When your toes lift, notice how your weight shifts into your heels. This is not just movement. This is your brain relearning how to track pressure and position in your feet. This is sensory retraining. Start with 10 repetitions. If that feels manageable, build to 15, even 20 over time. No rushing. Control is everything here. Once you feel more stable, you can progress to doing this standing. Place your hands lightly on a countertop or a chair for support. Now your body has to stabilize while shifting weight, just like it does when you walk. Because when your toes are not lifting properly, your body compensates. Your steps shorten. You begin to shuffle. You rely more on your eyes instead of feeling the ground. And that is where instability begins. But when you practice this consistently, your awareness returns. You feel your feet again. Your steps become more deliberate. You lift your toes without thinking. So do not just go through the motion. Pay attention to it. Because in the next movement, we are going to take that awareness and connect it to something even deeper. Your core and your brain working together to keep you upright. The third movement is called seated diagonal reach, and this is where we rebuild something most people do not even realize they are losing: coordination. Because the problem is not always weak legs. Many people over 60 can still walk, still stand, still move. But what starts to fail is timing. The ability for your brain, your core, and your legs to work together in one smooth, controlled action. And when that coordination slows down, even slightly, your balance becomes unreliable. This movement is designed to fix that. Sit toward the front of a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Before you move, gently press your feet into the ground. That pressure matters. It sends a signal up through your body, telling your brain where you are in space. Now bring your hands together in front of you. From here, slowly move your hands down toward one hip, then reach diagonally across your body up toward the opposite side, like you are drawing a line from your hip to above your shoulder. Then return to the start. Move slowly, then repeat on the other side. This is a cross-body movement pattern, and it forces multiple systems to work together at once. Your core stabilizes your body so you do not tip. Your feet stay grounded, feeding information back to your brain. Your arms guide the motion, creating coordination across your entire body. This is full-body coordination. This is core stabilization. And this is exactly what starts to fade if you do not train it. Perform 10 to 15 repetitions on one side, then switch. Do not rush. The slower you go, the more effective it becomes. Speed hides the problem. Slow movement exposes it and fixes it. You may feel your body working harder than expected, even though you are sitting. That is a good sign. It means your system is being challenged in the way it actually needs. Because here is what happens if you avoid this kind of training. Your brain stops practicing coordination. It becomes less efficient, slower to respond. And over time, that turns into hesitation, instability, and loss of control. But when you train this regularly, something changes. Your body starts working together again. Movements feel smoother, more controlled, more predictable. You are not just exercising, you are retraining your brain to respond the way it used to. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now, let's keep going with point number 4. The fourth movement is called supported single leg stand, And this is where we rebuild balance at the exact point most people start to lose it. Walking may feel simple, but it is not. Every step you take is a controlled fall from one leg to the other. That means you are constantly balancing on one leg. And if your body cannot stabilize on one leg even for a few seconds, your risk of falling increases sharply. This is where we train that ability directly. Go into your kitchen, stand near a counter, a sink, or a sturdy chair. Something solid, something you can trust. Place one or both hands lightly on the surface, not gripping, just enough to feel safe. Now here is the part most people get wrong. Do not lift your foot right away. Start with what we call a kickstand position. Shift your weight onto one leg. Then take the other foot and place it slightly behind you, with just the toes touching the ground. Think of it like a bicycle kickstand. It is there for support, not for weight. Most of your weight is on the standing leg. The back toes are just there to catch you if needed. Stay here first. Feel your balance. Let your body adjust. Then, when you feel ready, slowly begin to reduce the pressure on those back toes. Maybe you lift them slightly for a second, then touch them back down. No rush. Over time, you will be able to lift that foot completely. Keep a slight bend in your standing knee. Do not lock it. When you lock your knee, you rely on your joints. When you keep it soft, your muscles engage. That is what protects you. Hold this position for 10 to 30 seconds, then switch sides. And you may notice something. Small movements in your ankle, a slight shaking, constant tiny corrections. That is not weakness. That is your nervous system waking back up. That is your brain and your body learning to communicate again in real time. This is single leg stability. This is how your body keeps you upright in real life. As you improve, reduce your support. Start with both hands, then one hand, then just a fingertip. Eventually, try a few seconds without holding anything. Always go at your own pace. This is not about pushing. This is about control. And this carries directly into your daily life. Standing at the sink, getting out of the shower, turning in your kitchen, climbing stairs. If this ability is weak, you hesitate. You reach for support. You feel unsure. But when you train this consistently, something changes. Your confidence comes back. You stand taller. You move with control. That quiet fear starts to fade. You are not just standing on one leg. You are rebuilding the exact skill your body uses to keep you from falling. So take your time. Stay supported. Build it, step by step. Because in the next movement, we go even deeper, into the small muscles of your feet, where many of these problems begin without you ever noticing. The fifth movement is called towel scrunch, and this is where we go deeper than most people ever do, down to the smallest muscles in your feet. This is the part almost everyone ignores, but it is also the foundation of your balance. Many people can still walk, still stand, even exercise. But when it comes to controlling their toes, there is almost no response. Not because the muscles are gone, but because the signal has faded. The connection between the brain and those small muscles has gone quiet. And when that happens, your foundation becomes unstable without you even realizing it. This movement is designed to bring that connection back. Sit comfortably in a chair. Place a small towel flat on the floor in front of you. Now put one bare foot on the edge of the towel. Pause for a moment. Feel the surface under your foot. Even if the sensation is weak, that awareness matters. Now use your toes to grip the towel and pull it toward you. Spread your toes, then squeeze, then pull. Release, and repeat. At first this may feel awkward. Your toes may not respond the way you expect. They may feel slow or uncoordinated. That is not failure. That is your nervous system waking up. Each repetition is a signal traveling from your brain down into your foot. And over time, that pathway becomes stronger. Aim for 10 to 15 repetitions per foot. Move slowly enough that you can feel each contraction. If you rush, your foot will compensate and you lose the benefit. As you improve, you can progress. Replace the towel with small objects, coins, marbles, even a pen. Try picking them up with your toes and placing them into a container. This adds precision, and that is exactly what your nervous system needs. Because when you lose control of your toes, your body starts to compensate. You rely more on your eyes to stay balanced. You look down when you walk. Your posture changes. Your confidence drops. But when you restore control in your feet, something shifts. You begin to trust the ground again. Your steps feel more secure. Your body moves with less hesitation. You are not just strengthening your feet. You are rebuilding the foundation your entire balance depends on. Stay patient, stay consistent, because once you combine this with everything you've just learned, the real transformation begins. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you how to bring all 5 of these movements together into a simple daily routine that can change the way you move, stand, and live. Now step back and look at what you have just built. This is not a random set of exercises. This is a system. Each movement has a purpose. Each one targets a specific part of what your body is losing. And when you combine them, they work together to restore how your body moves, reacts, and stays balanced. Here is how to use it. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes each day. That is all it takes. Not hours, not exhausting sessions, just a short, focused routine. The most important time is in the morning, before your first real steps, before you ask your body to carry your full weight. This is not just exercise. This is preparation. You begin by waking up the system, reconnecting your brain to your legs. Then you restore control in your feet, then coordination, then balance. And finally, you rebuild the small muscles that hold everything together. This is a full sequence, a progression that follows how your body actually functions. And over time, this is what changes everything. You are not just improving how you feel today, you are shaping how your body will respond 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Because here is the reality most people do not want to face. Decline does not happen all at once. It builds slowly, quietly, one missed signal, one small compensation, one habit at a time. Falls are not random events. They are the result of a system that has been weakening for months, sometimes years. And if nothing changes, that process continues. Slower reactions, less control, more hesitation, more dependence. But when you follow a system like this consistently, you interrupt that pattern. You rebuild the connection. You maintain the ability to move safely. You protect something that becomes more valuable with time. Your independence. This is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters every single day. Now there is something you need to understand clearly. Your body does not forgive the way it used to. What you ignore today does not stay the same. It progresses. The numbness, the hesitation, the slight loss of balance, these are early signals, and if nothing changes, they lead somewhere very real. A slower body, less control, more dependence, a life that becomes smaller, more limited, more cautious. Or the opposite. You move with confidence, you walk without thinking, you trust your body again, you stay independent. That difference is not luck, it is built through daily decisions. So ask yourself one simple question. Are you preparing your body for the life you want to keep living? Let's support each other on this journey. If you found this helpful, comment 1. If not, comment 0. Your feedback matters more than you think. And if this helped you see things differently, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this.